of RFMU. Welcome aboard, everybody. I'm Kevin Westhouse, Utility Director. Welcome to RFMU. Today I'm with Wastewater and Water Superintendent Ron Groth, and also Lead Water Operator Greg Kaler. Greg, thanks for joining us. Ron, thanks for joining us. Now, today's topic, sewer. No one turned this thing off. This could be the most important RFMU you have seen and may seen in a while. This is where the learning never ends, but I don't know, no degrees are ever awarded, but we're going to learn a lot today, and you're going to want to pay close attention. Talking about sewer. I don't know if you've ever pondered, you flush a toilet at home, you put some water down the sink, you flush some things down the toilet. Have you ever considered where it goes, what you own, what you don't own, and the ramifications of a backup? So today, I'm here with Ron and Greg, and we're going to talk a little bit about what you own as far as your sewer is concerned, what the city owns, what your responsibility is, and some things you can do to mitigate potential problems down the road. And it could be very expensive problems at that. So we kind of did this little mock-up on the front lawn today. You can see this line right here is the sewer line that goes from your house out to the street. So this one stops here, but it would go right up to the house. It's about 10 to 12 feet down, Ron, Greg. Is that about how deep they bury these things?
Yeah, usually something like that, yeah.
Usually about 10 to 12 feet down. And this is all gravity too, right? So it comes out of the house and slopes down towards the street. So anything you flush down comes down this line. This is what you own and you're responsible for. From your house all the way out to the street.
Including the connection.
Including the connection. So we're going to go down here and I'm going to show you this connection right now. So we're going to walk down here. And Ron and Greg, let's talk a little bit about this connection. So now we're out in the street. This is a 4-inch line, Greg?
Yes, it is.
4-inch line here. This is, Ron, this is an 8-inch?
This is 8-inch pipe.
8-inch pipe right here. This is the main sewer line right here that goes right in front of everybody's house. This connection, does this connection have a name?
That is the sanitary Y.
The sanitary Y. That's what that's called. I knew everything has a technical name. So this is the sanitary Y. So, Greg, who owns this sanitary Y? Who owns this piece right here?
The customer owns that. They're required to be responsible up to and including the connection to our sewer main in the street.
So, customer, you own from the house all the way up to the main line, including this connection. So if there's ever a problem, this is going to be your repair. I do want to say this as well. You'll see here, this is plastic pipe, this is modern. We're in front of this house. We're in front of this house here. We can walk back up here. We're in front of this house here that's probably 110 years old. Originally, this is probably a clay line. Clay lines break, and you see these trees here? They have roots, and these roots seek cracks in clay lines. And if you have a clay line in an older house, probably something you want to consider too, huh, Ron, is cleaning that line regularly? How often would you recommend cleaning an old sewer line?
You know, it depends on the issues you have. You might need to do it every 6 months if there's a real bad root problem.
So if you have roots and you have backups in your system, have your line flushed out. If you have a new line, I know there's a new line for this house too, so it's a new plastic line, so it's probably less cumbersome and less problematic with a plastic line. But if you have an old house and an old clay line, something you probably need to pay a little more attention to. So that's one thing. That's what you own. Customers own from the house to the main line, including that connector. 2, well, what if there's a problem? Who pays if there's a backup and it comes back into your basement? That's the customer's issue is going to be if it's in their line. And a lot of times they'll perceive it to be a city issue if it's in the main line. Here's what I need you to do. One takeaway from today. After this video's done, call your insurance company and see what you're covered for, please. We get about, what, 2 or 3 of these a year, Ron and Greg?
Where the main backs up.
Where the main backs up. We get an anomaly in the main line. We do clean them regularly, but we found boots in the main line, Barbie dolls, wipes, grease, things that'll plug up our main line. It'll back up into someone's home, and they'll get anywhere from 3 to 5, 10. We've seen $100,000 worth of damage in basements due to sewer backups. City's insurance policies often says, we've been maintaining our line regularly in a regularly maintained schedule. Ron and Greg do a great job. We televise, we clean, but then all of a sudden something gets stuck in there and you get a backup. And the homeowner's insurance policy says, we're not covering that. That wasn't the city's line. And the city says, we're not going to cover that because we regularly maintain our system and the homeowner gets stuck with it. We get 2 or 3 of these a year and they're very traumatic to a homeowner. The best way that you can help yourself in that situation is call your insurance company and consider an insurance rider in case there's a backup in the main line. I just got one. It cost me $7 a month for about $5,000 or $6,000 coverage in case that happens, but I went and got one. And you should call your insurance company to see, and don't wait for a backup, for what could be a very expensive backup in your basement. Third of all, we're going to talk, Greg, about
what to flush,
what to flush and what not to flush.
What not to flush.
You know, we did a segment a while back called "Wipes in the Pipes,"
yep.
And here's what you don't want to flush: things that say flushable wipes. What else do you just want to flush?
Well, there's baby wipes. There's wipes that say flushable, but they're not really flushable because they don't break down in the lines. We've done some testing and they just don't break down, and they're going to end up in your line first.
First, they're going to end up in your line, cause a backup. If they make it to the main line, they could cause a backup there. Other things you don't want to flush: Legos, any
batteries and erasers. Keep your kids away from the toilets.
Here, no toys. Let's keep it simple. Toilet paper only down the line, please.
That's what they're made for.
That's what they're made for, right? Toilet paper only. Grease, terrible. If you put grease down your drain, it's coming in here, it's going to cause a problem. We've seen it, we're dealing with it in new subdivisions, people flushing grease.
It doesn't matter how much hot water you run with the grease, it gets cold in the sewer and gets hard, so you don't want to do it.
Do not flush grease down. So again, these are some preventive things you can do. Call your insurance company. Don't flush what's considered flushable wipes down there. Also, we got this thing here, it's called a
backwater valve.
A backwater valve. You can see there's a little flapper in this thing. Maybe you can't see it, but there's a little flapper inside of here. It only allows water to flow one direction out of your house. If there's a backup, it'll stop it from coming back into your house. You can install one of these as well. If you're building a new house, I'd put one in. It's a couple $100. If you have an existing house, it could be $1,000 to $1,500 to put one of these in.
Right, yeah.
It's a little more cumbersome, but if you've had problems, I would consider a backwater valve. Another piece of preventive maintenance that you can do, we would highly recommend you consider doing this as well.
Yep.
Now, let's kind of bring this thing to a conclusion today. If you do have a backup, you've got backwater coming into your house, first thing you should do, call the utility at hours or after hours. We'll send Greg and one of his team out here to respond. 715-425-0906. Call and say, hey, we have a sewer backup. Ron will send the guys out with a big vac truck. We'll televise it. We'll see what we got and see if it's in your line or in our line, and we'll help you out there. So call. If you have a backup, call the utility. Let them know there's a problem immediately. This might be in our line, and then you've just wasted money on a plumber. So call us right away. We'll get out there as quickly as possible. During business hours or any time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, these guys are committed. So they'll be out. They'll be out to be able to help you. So again, we're coming to the conclusion of the end of episode 3 of RFMU. And hopefully you picked some nuggets up today. But this is important stuff. Please consider your sewer line, what you own, what you're responsible for. Call your insurance company. Please find out if you're covered, if there is a backup. And 3, if you do have an issue, call 715-425-0906. And these guys here will be glad to come and help you out. So again, or if you have questions, comment on the Facebook Live post today. And we're glad to have you as customers. Thank you. We want to do a good job. We want to keep all sewer out of basements, but stuff does happen. As stuff happens, well, how can that ever happen? I just want to give one anecdote before we quit. Eau Claire had a water main break next to a sewer line that was cracked. It flooded out 50 homes.
Yes, it did.
5-0, big mess. A lot of people didn't have insurance. So again, that just falls under you never, ever know. So call your insurance company, make sure you're protected. And that one Eau Claire happened, what, about 2 months ago?
Yeah, it was, I think, February maybe.
February, yeah, time flies, so very recently. So anyway, call your insurance company, make sure you're covered, know what you own. Thanks for joining us in episode 3 of RFMU. On behalf of Greg and Ron, I'm Kevin saying, see you next time on RFMU. Thanks everybody.
You got a message?